Welcome to Brother Miller's Notes as we study together Doctrine and Covenants, section 10 and 11. Now, the background of section 10 is very similar to the background of section 3. Martin Harris has been very generous. He has been helping Joseph and Emma move from Joseph's parents' house to to Emma's parents' house. He's been helping the translation process, which started April 12, 1828. By June 14th, the two of them have translated 116 pages. And Martin wants to borrow them. And you probably remember the story from section 3, where they borrow them and these 116 pages are lost. If you look at the chronological order of the Doctrine and Covenants, this is in the first part of the Doctrine and Covenants. In 1828 July is the date for section 3. And in April of the next year, 29, is the date given for section 10. When B.H. Roberts in the early 1900s is putting together the 1921 edition of the Doctrine and Covenants, he's looking at this and saying this is clearly an error because there are parts of 10 that are definitely given at the same time as 3. And there's also a note by Joseph Smith's scribe, Joseph Mulholland, and Brother Mulholland says that section 10 was given right after section 3. But there's also parts of section 10 that we know were given in April of 29. So kind of the way it kind of works out, the way we know about it is, and I think this is the best way to say it, this is in our section heading. This revelation is likely given around April 1829, though portions may have been received as early as the summer of 1828. So let me just tell you how they tie together really well. So section 3, verse 12, Thou, Joseph Smith, deliverest up that which was sacred, 116 pages, into the hands of wicked men, Martin Harris. It defines wicked. It's not like, hey, you've been out drinking whiskey. Here's wicked in section 3. Wicked is anybody who said it not the counsels of God. Wicked is someone who's broken promises made before God. Wicked is someone who depends upon their own judgment. Wicked is someone who's boasted in their own strength. That's wicked. And section 10, verse 1 starts off with similar words. Because you, Joseph, delivered up those writings which you have had power given unto you to translate by means of the Urim and Thummim, that's 116 pages, into the hands of a wicked man, Martin Harris, you've lost them. And then section 10 starts to help Joseph understand a little bit more about Satan, what his plans are, and how to overcome them, overcome his tactics or his traps. So first the Lord says, look, Joseph, Lucifer is a destroyer. Sometimes he's called the great destroyer. He wants to destroy you. He wants to destroy the gifts that you have. He wants to destroy the work of God. He wants to destroy the souls of men. He wants your testimony destroyed. That's Satan then, that's Satan now. He wants to destroy you, your gifts, the work, the souls of men, and your testimony. How does he try and do that? Here's some things that section 10 says, some of the ways Satan tries to destroy your testimony, you, the work of God. He stirs up the heart up to iniquity against that which is good. It's a stirring process. He lays a cunning plan. He stirs the heart to anger against the work, and we see that. He uses flattery, lies, deception, and he leads people into their own snare. They think they're setting it for someone else to kind of trap, maybe it's a servant of God, but that in the end, Satan's leading them back into their own snare. He wants contention, not just anywhere, but concerning the points of the doctrine of Christ. He doesn't care why we're fighting. He just wants people to fight over the doctrine of Christ. And Satan has these traps set, these snares set. And you think, what do you do to avoid Satan's snares? Well, that's section 10. It's one of the great things about section 10 is it teaches, here's how to avoid them. So, the first way, section 10 teaches how to beat the tactics of the devil or stay out of the snares is very first. Don't run faster or labor more than you have strength and means, but be diligent to the end. Section 10 suggests paced progress. There is a difference between being anxiously engaged and being over-anxious, and thus under-engaged. Be engaged, but don't run faster than you have strength. The next thing to beat the tactics of the devil is to pray always, that you may come off conqueror, yea, that you may conquer Satan, that you may escape the hands of the servants of Satan that do uphold his work. Very simple. God answers prayers. God hears all of our prayers. He'll help you when you pray. He has the ability to prevent Satan from accomplishing his evil designs. And it's kind of like if you ever watch football or basketball, there's plays. Well, God knows Satan's playbook. And he knows the order in which Satan's going to call the plays. So he knows what Satan's going to do and when he's going to do it. And knowing that gives us a lot of confidence to know God really does know how to help us in our time of need. God will show unto you wisdom and give you commandments concerning these things, what you should do. You're going to be praying, you're going to be exercising faith, and he's going to show you what to do. And wisdom is the practical application of knowledge. You'll know things, he'll give you when to apply it. He also sometimes says, hold your peace, be patient until I see fit to make all things know. Sometimes you don't know everything, but God will not suffer that they will destroy his work. Yea, God says, I will show unto them that my wisdom is greater than the cunning of the devil. But for us, he will give us according to our faith in our prayers. And one of the ways that we definitely beat the tactics of the devil is God's going to establish his church. The church is there to help us identify and beat the tactics of Satan that are around us. Also, Section 10 teaches that another way to beat the tactics of the devil is that God gives us his gospel. He will bring to light the true points of my doctrine. He will establish the gospel of Jesus Christ, so there might not be so much contention. And he's going to say, I'm going to gather. I put this in on both sides of the veil, but he's going to gather. The gathering process is real, and it's going to help you beat Satan and not fall into his traps. Whosoever is of my church and endureth of my church. Now, endureth is to remain firm under suffering or misfortune without yielding. I love that way of thinking about it. Whosoever is of my church and is firm, even when things are going bad, they don't yield, of my church, to the end, him will I establish upon my rock, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against him. President Benson said that in the usual sense of the term, church membership means that a person has his or her name officially recorded on the membership records of the church. But the Lord defines a member of his kingdom in quite a different way. In 1828, through the prophet Joseph Smith, he said, Behold, this is my doctrine. Whosoever repenteth and cometh unto me, the same is my church. To him whose church this is, membership involves far more than being a member of record. It involves just what the Lord told Hiram through Joseph. We need to make sure and be diligent, faithful, endure to the end. And kind of a summary of this whole loss of the 116 pages, I love the way Elder Maxwell said it. In the episode involving the lost manuscript from the Book of Mormon, we see the interplay of the foreknowledge of God and the agency of man, with our freedom to fail, and the perfect foresight of a loving Lord who 1,500 years before the emergency was ready with an alternative. If God knows what someone's going to choose 1,500 years ahead of time, and he knows how to help them, you definitely know God knows how to help you today with what you're struggling with. Now, I'm switching gears to section 11. And as an introduction, we get section 11, going back a little bit more in time. Hiram comes to visit Samuel. Well, Hiram's going to come too, but Samuel's first. Samuel's the fourth son of Joseph and Lucy Smith. He's a man of integrity and singleness and fixity of purpose. He visits Joseph and becomes the third individual in our dispensation to be baptized. And we'll say more about this later. Oliver is the one who baptized him. Now, he returns home, and he's so excited. I mean, wouldn't you be too? You return home, and when he returns home, Hiram's excited, and Hiram comes and visits him. Joseph Smith summarizes it this way. After a few days, however, feeling it to our duty, we commenced to reason out of the Scriptures with our acquaintances and friends, and we happened to meet with them. About this time, my brother Samuel Smith came to visit us. Oliver counter-baptized him, and he returned to his father's house greatly glorifying and praising God. Not many days afterwards, my brother Hiram came unto us to inquire concerning these things. And when at his earnest request, I inquired of the Lord through the Urim and Thummim, and received for him the following. So this section is for Hyrum Smith. He is also going to be baptized in June of 1829. He's 5 years older than Joseph. He's one of the 6 original members of the church. He becomes the second patriarch in the church, and the Lord says, I love you for your integrity. Now, just to tell you a little bit about Hiram and Joseph's relationship. It's very close, always was. As the older brother, 5 years older, he's in a unique position where Joseph looks up to him, but he's also really cares for Joseph. And when Joseph's leg is operated on, that really can be seen in Lucy Mack Smith's account of it. Lucy Mack watched as her 13-year-old son Hiram sat down on the bed next to Joseph, who's now 7 years old, and cradled his younger brother's painfully inflicted leg in his hands. There young Hiram sat almost day and night for some considerable length of time. Lucy recalled holding the affected parts of Joseph's leg in his hands and pressing it between them, so that his afflicted brother might be enabled to endure the pain which was so excruciating. She describes Hiram as rather remarkable for his tenderness and sympathy. Now, Joseph's legs will need to be operated on. A piece of the bone will be taken out to be able to help him. But it is Hiram who's constantly looking out after Joseph and helping him. Now, so does Alvin, but there's this tenderness that Hiram has. And as section 11 is given, there are some things that the Lord tells Hiram that apply to us too. There's quite a few things. The Lord tells Hiram, seek not for riches, but for wisdom. First Parentheses told us the same thing. Gold is good in its place. It is good in the hands of good men to do good with. But in the hands of wicked men it often proves a curse instead of a blessing. Gold is a good servant, but a miserable, blind, and helpless god. And at last will have to be purified by fire with all of its followers. Hiram is told, thou shalt have a gift thou desire to me in faith. And you think, well, what was Hiram's gift? Yeah, quite a few, more than one. But I love the way Joseph Fielding Smith explained it. The Lord declared that Hiram Smith had a gift. The great gift which he possessed was that of a tender, sympathetic heart, a merciful spirit. The Lord on a later occasion said, blessed is my servant Hiram Smith, for I, the Lord, love him because of the integrity of his heart, and because he loveth that which is right before me, saith the Lord. This great gift was manifest in his jealous watch care over the prophet, lest some harm come to him. So it's true for Hiram, thou have a gift if thou desire of me in faith, but that's true for us too. Section 45 talks about gifts of the Spirit. For all not have every gift given unto them. For there are many gifts, and to every man and woman is given a gift by the Spirit of God. We can have those gifts too if we'll desire these gifts of God in faith. It was also for Hiram was promised, I will impart of you my spirit, which shall enlighten your mind, which shall fill your soul with joy. We can have that same imparting of the Spirit, enlightening our mind. Elder McConkie is one of my favorite quotes from Elder McConkie. God is no respecter of persons. He will give revelation to me and to you on the same terms and conditions. He gave it to Hiram, he'll give it to you too. Also, he tells Hiram, and this is a little bit of a summary, got 4 verses in a row here. 5, behold, I command you that you need not suppose that you're called to preach until you're called. Wait a little longer till you shall have my word, my rock, my church, my gospel. You may shall know of surety my doctrine. And then, behold, according to your desires, and even as according to your faith, it shall be done unto you. Sometimes we have, maybe this is a little bit more with youth where, and I heard a lot when I was teaching at the MTC, Missionary Training Center. I just can't wait to get on my mission. I can't wait to get out of here. And, sometimes you just have to wait a little bit longer. You really need, right now, your work. It's just this. Keep the commandments with all your might, mind, and strength. Seek not to declare my word, but first seek to obtain my word. And then shall your tongue be loosed. And if you desire, you shall have the Spirit, and my word, and the power of God unto the convincing of men. And I think that's true for us even today, whether you're 10, 20, 50, or 80. If you will continue to seek the word of God, that revelation will invite revelation to you. Then your tongue will be loose. There'll come a time where what you've been studying today or last year or 2 years ago will come to your mind in the right place, so you'll be able to say the right thing at the right time to the individual need to bless them. This constant searching the word for preparing not only for the future, but also changes your heart and helps you become. What you study today helps you become what you'll be tomorrow. Elder Bednar encouraged, now this is for missionaries, My earnest hope for each of you young men is you'll simply not go on a mission, but that you will become missionaries long before you submit your mission papers, long before you receive a call to serve, long before you are set apart by your state president, and long before you enter the missionary training center. What you read invites you to what you become. That's true for scriptures or whatever you're reading. From such teachings, we conclude the final judgment is not just an evaluation or a sum total of good and evil acts. What we have done. It is an acknowledgement of the final effect of our acts and thoughts, what we have become. Searching in the scriptures help you become more like Jesus Christ. So just some summary teaching thoughts of what we covered in sections 10 and 11. Satan does have a desire to destroy you, your faith, your spiritual gifts, the church. He has a plan for that. But section 10 teaches how to beat the tactics of the devil, how to avoid the snares, how to avoid the traps. Just like Hiram, we will receive spiritual gifts if we desire it of God and we ask in faith. And there is an importance for us today to seek to obtain my word. Seek to obtain the word not just for what it may help you to be able to say to help someone else, but also for what it helps you to become more like Jesus Christ in our daily discipleship. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me as we studied in sections 10 and 11. I hope you have a great day. Keep smiling. Bye.